We are Port Life Church. Our vision is to bring life to the Port community and beyond. We do this by knowing, loving and serving our God, our church, our college, our community and our world.
So great to see you in church today. I've seen people I see nearly every week, which is awesome. I've seen people I haven't seen for a little while, so welcome back. It's great to see you. And I've even met people who I've never seen before, so welcome to church, all of you. And if you are here for the first time, we would love to meet you in the cafe afterwards and shout you a coffee and get to know you just a little bit better. I don't have any notices this morning because some of the things we would perhaps normally share in this time, Josh is going to share a little bit later on as we sort of unfold some of what's coming up in this year on our Vision Sunday service, which is pretty exciting, I think. And the other thing I just quickly want to say before I introduce Josh, because he's got a lot to share and so have some others, but thank you so much, everybody, for your giving that's continued faithfully throughout this crazy last year and into this year. We really do appreciate it, and it does enable us to do so much of what we do. Our influence and our reach into our community really is growing because of the generosity of people in this church. So thank you so much for your giving. As usual, we won't be having an offering where buckets come past and put our money in. For those that do want to give cash, we have our little mailboxes at the back of the auditorium there. And so please feel free to put your offerings in at the end of the service. But other than that, we thank you for those that have taken up the online giving option, which is certainly very helpful. It certainly helps Hayley, makes things a lot easier for her. So thank you very much. Well, without any further ado, because as I mentioned, we do have so much on today, I want to introduce our speaker for this morning. It is none other than our senior pastor, Josh Poyser. Could we please make him feel very welcome?
We are Port Life Church. Our vision is to bring life to the Port community and beyond.
Welcome to Vision Sunday for 2021. I've got to say, this is very different to Vision Sunday on previous years. It's been a really challenging thing to work through. What are we going to plan for 2021? I don't need that. Thank you. It's been a really challenging year. And where do you go with not knowing what's going to happen from week to week in this place? And so I hope that today you'll see it's not really a 2021 vision. We're actually looking at the next few years. And so I want you to think a bit longer term than 2021 with what we look at today. For those of you that are new to the church, I think it's really important that you do this sort of thing. And that's why we have it, so that people that are new in particular understand the heart of what the church is about and what the church is, where the church is heading, where we're trying to head, what the vision and goals of the church are. And so to start it off, I want to show you just a few highlights from 2020. So if you have a look at the screen, you'll see a few different pictures there. First of all, if you look in the bottom left corner, last year was the year that we just had no choice but to become an online church. And like just about every church, it was a hugely challenging thing, and yet the team here did such a fantastic job with no real skills or expertise in this area to just pick it up and within literally a few days put it on, and then week after week continue to do that. I know I've already thanked them late last year, but again, I really want to thank them. What an amazing job that team did. It was in 2020 that Seaview late last year officially voted to become a part of this church, and so this year they will become a campus of Port Life, and Kev our pastor from here, Kev Hall, who moved down there, is doing Vision Sunday with them this morning. If we look on the top right-hand corner, great news late last year from the school. A young 16-year-old lad got an ATAR score, if you just finished year 12, of 99.4. You might have seen it in the advertiser, but an amazing result. And he's still a young lad, but the school has been doing so well, and particularly to do that in a COVID year. Congratulations to the school exec and to all the teachers and the team with that school. I want to thank them this morning as well. What a great job they've done, not just with Philbert there, but with all the kids. Christmas Eve. We know that most people love to come here and sing carols. You couldn't do that, but I hope that what you were happy with. I don't know about you, but I thought they did, again, a tremendous effort to bring Christmas to you. Done in a very COVID-safe way, but it's also one of those things that forever, for those of you that had kids and that in it, you've got a lasting legacy and just a reminder of what your kids did when they were younger, and even for the adults involved in it, you've got a permanent memory there that you'll be able to look back on from time to time. Christmas baskets, wow, were they an amazing thing that we were able to achieve last year. Despite the situation we found ourselves in, so many people helped out. And again, I want to thank them. It was a true blessing to so many people in the community. And we've had lots of responses from people in the community who were just so appreciative that a group of people that didn't actually know them bothered to actually, whether they accepted the basket or not, hundreds did. And all of them, whether they wanted one or not, were just so appreciative that a church would actually just want to offer something, and with no real motive, just other than just to bless them at Christmas. And so that was very much appreciated. Our vision is pretty simple. It's bringing life to the Port community and beyond. And I guess with what's happening at Seaview, our beyond has become a little bit more clear to us in recent months. But we can see that down south and up here in the western suburbs, that our heart is that it would bring life, this church would bring life to people. And that's not, we don't bring the life, we know that Jesus does. But our heart is that we would connect people to Jesus. So basically what it means is, the way that we do that is we do what Jesus wants. And the Bible is pretty clear on what we need to be doing. And there's a couple of things. Number one, we need to go and make disciples of all the nations. And you'll hear today exactly what we are looking to do in relation to that. And secondly, just as importantly, we're to love God and to love other people. And hopefully you'll see from the vision today, how we're trying to address both of those things. And so we summarize it in 3 words: know, love, serve. They are 3 words that are really, really important to us. And in the next 3 weeks, not today, but in the 3 weeks following, we're going to be looking at know, love, and serve in a bit of detail of what that really is going to mean for this year for our church. And so Vision Sunday is really going to happen over 4 weeks. But the know, love, and serve part is going to be next week and the 2 weeks following. But very briefly, first of all, we have 5 aspects to the church, and the first of those of what it is to bring life, and the first of those is called spiritual life. And so I want you to, these words that we put together as a leadership team, they're really, really important, because when you see what's on here, you get the heart of what the leadership of the church would love to see in this place. Our heart is to be a church where people are being saved, where people are being baptized, people are being spirit-filled, and people, really importantly, are growing in their knowledge of God. We want people that are passionately and enthusiastically worshipping, serving, and obeying God. And our scripture is, come close to God, and God will come close to you. James 4:8. We've got a few, I'm just going to show you on the screen now, our monthly themes for 2021. And hopefully, some of these won't make a lot of sense at this point. But they're going to be, as I said just before, the February theme is bringing life, where you look at know, love, and serve. In March, we're going to have a look at the un. That's not a word I've missed out. It'll make sense when you're here in March. April, we're going to be looking at faith, the Holy Spirit in May, the book of Exodus in June, the book of Acts in July, the real Jesus in August, blessings in disguise in October, first things first in October, the real Father in November, and then the unexpected in December, which will be a real focus on Christmas. But we've tried to give a rounded balance, I guess, to the different topics we're going to be talking about throughout the year. Another thing we're going to be doing, which you're going to get a little sample of soon, is we're going to be doing a Saturday morning session for 2 mornings for those interested called Understanding Revelation. I don't know if you've ever looked at the book of Revelation and not really understood what it's all about, or you've gone, oh, that just seems really far-fetched, or it just seems like it should be in the Lord of the Rings or something like that. This will demystify the book of Revelation. If you come along to this, it'll be for 2 mornings. If you come along, you'll actually be able to read it with a totally different view of what that book is really all about. And so I really want to encourage you, and we're going to be looking to do these things as we go on. This is about people growing in their knowledge of God and even learning to love the Bible. Bits where you go, oh, that just makes no sense, I'll just ignore that. No, don't ignore it. There's really good stuff in it. So can I encourage you, really, if you want to sign up for this, by the way, you go to the help desk in the foyer after church. But it's going to be on March 20 and 27 from 9 to 1 p.m. It's $20. That will include morning tea. But it'll be 2 parts, as I said, over 2 weeks, just looking at and really understanding. It's going to be broken down by chapter, this book of Revelation. So if that's something that you go, I've never understood this, but I'm sure it's in the Bible for a reason, can I encourage you to consider signing up and doing this short course? The next thing now, another part of spiritual life, I'm going to invite Nick and Sarah to the stage, and they're going to share a really exciting thing that we're going to be doing in relation to spiritual life and young people.
Hello, thanks Josh. Hello, I'm Sarah. If you don't know me, I'm the kids pastor, and this is Nick. He's
Hello. Whoa.
Hello.
You know me now.
So we're here to tell you that we've got 2 new exciting initiatives that we are starting this year. Because like Josh said, it's our calling to make disciples, and this is how we are going to do this in kids and youth this year. Both Nick and I, we have a passion to train and equip young people to grow their God-given skills and abilities, and so we can help train them in how to serve God in their lives. So because of this, we are implementing something called JDP, which is Junior Development Program. This is for year 6 to 10s. Yeah, woo, it's very exciting. It really is exciting. So this program is going to run throughout the whole year. And in this program, young people are given a more intentional and purposeful opportunity to serve in various areas of the church on a Sunday morning, and we are going to work with them and with their department leaders so they can use their skills for God's glory.
Yep, so by being involved in the program, the cool things are not only do they, I guess, grow their skills and all that, but they also get an opportunity to learn and grow in different team environments. So the whole point is that that's very ringy. The whole point is that they're going to be having different experiences in different teams, different environments, under different leaders, and I'm sure we all know that even from our own workplaces and things like that, no one team or situation is going to be the same from the next. So by them getting involved in a whole bunch of different areas and getting regular feedback on that, it means they're getting heaps more experience. And our hope is that it's not only that they're going to be doing this stuff for the church and getting involved here, but this will actually help them become more job ready than the average teenager when they first enter the workforce as well, because they'll be able to say, hey, I've had all these different experiences. I know what it's like when you get involved in a team and things don't go well on one shift and go really well on another. They have that experience already under their belt. So we think it's going to be really valuable for them as well.
Yeah, and on that note, we have, if a young person serves 20 times over the course of the year and meets other relevant requirements that we've got, they'll actually get a certificate on our celebration service at the end of the year. And this certificate will say, they completed year 1 of Junior Development Program, and it looks great on a resume. So if nothing else, if you don't want to serve, like, this looks great on a resume, and it does set you apart. I mean, we all should serve. No love serve, that's our thing. But it does look great on your resume, all your young people.
Yep, it's very true. So, young people, if you're interested in being involved, you've got to be in years 6 to 10. And if you're interested in being involved in the JDP, we've got an info session running next Sunday after church at 12 p.m. That's our hope, that it'll be at 12 p.m. if we stop talking and actually, make sure we run the session. So make sure you get to that, and that'll be really good. The second initiative that we have is all around creating community and connection for young people. So that's connection between their peers, with us, and of course, most importantly, with God. And this is our Life Youth families and our Kids Life families.
Yeah, and these are our after-school groups. We actually started this in term 4 last year, and they were a great success. Every kid who was involved really loved it. And so they're just designed, like Nick said, to give young people an opportunity to connect with others, to connect with God, to connect with us. And for them, it's a really safe space. If they've got any questions about God or the Bible, about life, it's a small group where they can ask us and we can discuss together about how to grow closer to God.
Yep, so they'll be run fortnightly from years 3 through to year 10. So it's going to, cross quite a big cross section there, and we're really excited to be able to hang out with them, spend that time with them. And if you are interested in signing your young person up, please email us. It's nick@portlife.org.au or Sarah at the same thing. Or you can go to the help desk after the service today as well.
And all parents, you should have already received an email about this. If you didn't get an email and you're a parent of a kid in year 3 to 10, you have no idea what we're saying, please either check your emails or let the help desk know you didn't receive it, and then we'll make sure that you get all further correspondence about that. And while I'm here, I just want to also quickly say, which parents should also know, but in term 1 holidays at the end of the year, we're actually going to do a kids camp. We did one of these last year. It's not an overnight camp, but it's an all-day thing there's 2 of them, one for the little kids, one for the older kids. So you should have received an email about that too. If not, like I said, please go to the help desk and give them your email. Thank you.
That's
Thanks, Josh.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys. What really sold it for me with what they're doing is I love the fact that they're actually going to take each child and actually develop them, mentor them, disciple them, and actually keep a track of each child. So that it's not like just youth group where you're in a big pool with lots of kids and you hope that some kids go really well and others sort of get lost in the pack. They're actually going to have an individual plan for each child, and actually working with each child, and actually it really values each child, makes sure that no one slips through the cracks and that everyone is on this journey developing. And so I know it's a lot of extra work for these guys, but I believe it's truly worth it. Our second area is family life, and that is what know, love and serve our church. And our heart is to be a church where genuine godly relationships are formed, cultures and generations are connected, and people experience love and acceptance. It's one of those years where it's really hard to connect people in certain ways just because we've got to be very careful. We don't want to put on big events and that sort of thing. It's where these small things become really, really important, such as life groups. And can I encourage you, if you are not connected in the church some way, if you're not in the music team or you're not on some other group where there's a connection, can I encourage you to join a life group? I don't know any other way to do it in a medium-sized church like this. How do you get connections with other people, and how do others know what's going on in your life if you're not in some sort of a group? And so I would encourage you, again, you go to the help desk and say, look, I'd be interested in joining a life group if there's one suitable for me and on the times that I can potentially do it, and we'll see if we can possibly fit you into one. The other thing to look at is there's a key events thing that you'll be able to get. It's on our website, but also you'll be able to get one from the help desk if you want to stick one on your fridge. And some of these things that we do are there specifically for connection. So, for example, in June this year, there's a women's retreat, which they're going to go away for overnight, and just the guys are going to live it up back in Adelaide. No, I actually think this is a chance for women to have a really good break, and they're going to be able to get away and just focus on having rest, and they do times of worship and times of teaching. And I know when they've done these in the past, the women have come back so refreshed and just really, really bonded together, and that's being part of family life. And so there'll be little things that we'll be looking to do throughout the year that just give that opportunity for people to really connect as a family. The other thing we're going to be doing, we don't have a time for this yet, but that is something we talked about last year that we were going to put on this year, which is Breakout 7 to 8. And so there's going to come a point this year where we are going to launch this. We're probably waiting till we can be confident that we've got enough rooms that are going to meet the 2 square metre rule with what we're going to do. But effectively, Breakout is a Wednesday night, and it's just 4 times a term. And what's going to happen is we would have originally come together here for about just 2 or 3 songs of worship, and then people will break out into a variety of different courses. So for some people, they might say, oh, I'm really interested in learning more about the Holy Spirit. Well, that group's going to be meeting in that room over there. Or I'm really interested in studying the book of, for example, Revelation. Well, that course will be run over there. And there'll be all sorts of courses running. And so that's the aim of it. We want people to grow in their knowledge of God. And again, it allows for more family connection by meeting in smaller groups where people can discuss things and raise questions and even give advice and just make comments. And so you can't really do that in this environment, but with Breakout you will be able to. And so we'll be giving you information on when that's going to start sometime later this year. The next thing is college life. For those of you that are new to the church, you may or may not be aware that the school that's on the site here is actually a ministry of this church. A former pastor, John Ridley, and Margaret McIntyre started the school in 1976 with a handful of kids, and today it's got 600 odd kids in the school and about 100 kids in the ELC. And our heart is to be a church where we provide affordable Christian education to families in the western suburbs. We want to, affordable quality, should I say. We want it to be quality, but we also want it to be affordable. We don't want it to be something that prices people out. We also, as a church, want to support the college. The college is run independently of the church in that there is a principal over there and a board, and they oversee all the school matters. That's not dictated by the staff here at the church, but we want to support them to equip students for life. And we want to develop genuine relationships with our college community. And so there's a few different things that we've been doing. It's been pretty hard last year with COVID, but I really thank the principal who's here today. She's over there on the right waving her hand, Dr. Susan Starling. She's made it that the two really are one. And she's given the church great opportunity to go in and speak into the lives of kids. And likewise, they've also done fundraisers for us for things like the Myanmar project, which you'll hear about in a minute. And we want to be able to do what we can do to help over there. And so it goes both ways. And it's a great relationship that I assume will just continue. And it really is a blessing having a school like that connected to our church. I want to show you something now in a minute. I'm going to get you to have a look at a video. Some of you will have already seen this, particularly if you're a parent of the school. But for about 5 years, we have been planning the future of Portside Christian College. Where do we take this thing? We're landlocked. We literally couldn't put many more kids in without it creating a lot of congestion. And so for about 5 years, there's been a lot of negotiating with councils and various governments, and then we had to go and sort out how we could get rid of big power lines that are on the site, and then we had traffic issues with cars. And you would be aware that last year we've put in a new road around the back of the oval. That's helped a lot with the congestion. We got rid of the power lines the year before. And I'm really happy now to be able to show you the plan for the next, it's probably a 10 to 20 year completion, but won't be starting in 10 or 20 years. We're hoping to start this in about 2022. But I just want you to have a look at this video now. That's some pretty scary stuff there. The stage 1 is the one that we'll be looking at for 2022. We're aiming to see if we can't pretty much have that being built by the end of 2023. That is, it's a challenge at the moment, but we're at the process of going through all the stuff we have to do to get to that point, and that would be a year 9 to 12 building. That would be amazing if we can get that one done then. You would have noticed, and if you have a look at it later online, if you want to look at it in detail, you'll notice when we get to about near the end of it that the church disappears. And so that's probably a good 15 years away at a guess. But so, of course, it doesn't mean that for 15 years we'll just sit here and do nothing. We'll continue to do what we need to plan here, and anything that we do will be able to be used by the school in the future. But it also means that in possibly 15, 20 years' time, the church will be needing to relocate. And so that's something that we have there knowing now, so that we can start preparing for that and looking for when the right opportunity comes up for us to grab. So one little thing that's happening at the moment, if you were to drive past and you notice that there's some fencing up, is that just under construction at the moment is the nature playground. That will be finished in about 2 months' time. Don't have an exact date when that'll be finished, but I'm guessing it'll be a couple of months. That's going to be a fantastic playground, not only for the school. We let the community in to use it on the weekend, and so it's joining with community. The school's paying for it, but the community gets the benefit of it. And so it's a place you can take your kids or grandkids. If you're looking for a new little local playground on the weekend, it'll just be a nice little nature playground. It's built around a sunken pirate ship is the main piece of the puzzle, but it's very much nature play. And I look really, really excited to seeing that completed. On community life, our heart is to be a church where we're a blessing to our community. We want to develop genuine relationships with our community, and we want to bring life to our community. And if you look at the next slide, sort of gives you the key areas at the moment that we are working on in relation to this. First of all, our Green Monkeys program. I'll tell you what, I cannot thank enough the team involved with Green Monkeys. I know there's a lot of them here today, but ladies, in particular, I really want to thank you for the hours and hours that you put into this ministry. It is so well worth it. I've seen such incredible fruit from that over the last 10 years. What an amazing ministry it's been. It is the Green Monkeys team. It is a little playground we have during the week on Monday and Wednesday mornings. It's open to the community. It's gold coin donation. They don't have to pay. They can just come in, and to tell you what, the ladies that meet them there, greet them and look after them, they treat them like family. They truly do. They're just such a blessing to these people in the community. We get people come in with serious issues, with depression, with people dealing with immense grief, people dealing with breakups, people dealing with all sorts of things, and these ladies get around them and just love them. And so I want to honour you ladies today. Well done on what you guys are doing. So good. Another thing in the other opposite corner is youth. Youth are so important. Youth are impressionable. Youth are incredibly talented. But youth are also at that age where they've got to make decisions in their life. They're either going to choose to live their life for God, or they're going to choose to live their life for themselves. And so we make no apology for pumping resources and time into young people, because they are very, very impressionable. And we want to do all that we can to make sure that as they enter adulthood, that they have a very good understanding of the choices before them. And our heart's desire, of course, is that they choose to follow God. We don't care what they do for a career. It's great. We want them to be in all forms of industry and professions, but it means very little if you're not following God. And so that's the heart of our team, is to really see young people succeeding in life, excelling in life, but more importantly, excelling with God. The other thing that's going to be a real key focus this year is, again, our Christmas baskets, because the Christmas baskets represent every single family that have connected with this church in some way. We'll do a heap of things that will involve people from the community this year, but it's that blessing at the end of the year where we just thank them for willing to be part of our community and join in our community, and to then be able to give them a Christmas basket. And I'll tell you what worked really well last year was having them come here and collect them. And the team did a great job of setting up all these little photo booths. If you came in and saw it, it looked amazing. And for the families that came in, they went, wow, had I known this, I would not have wasted $50 to get the photo of the kids and Father Christmas at West Lakes. I would have just brought them here. It is so good. And so we're really going to ramp that up this year, hopefully in a more less COVID restricted environment. We really want a situation where the community can come in, get a Christmas basket and just be loved. And it really had that sense of love last year. It really did. And again, I'm really proud of the team involved with that. It spoke so well, I think, of the church, and it speaks well of God, if this is what the people that follow God are like. So thank you so much. One little extra thing you are going to see happening this year, if I can show you the next screen, you're going to see this is will be our entrance outside. It's currently bitumen and has a couple of cars parked on it, but that's going to be the entrance to church. But more importantly, we're going to use that as an expansion of Green Monkeys so that we can get more people from the community to come. And it'll be an outdoor part of it where there'll be tables and chairs outside, there'll be a bit of grass, there'll be a bit of paving. We've applied to the local council for a decent sized grant, and so please be praying for that. I've asked them for 20 grand, and I'm believing we're going to get it. So, but please be praying for that. But this is going to be, as I said, an ability to be able to extend what we already have. It's also, for anyone with kids in the church, going to make it safer. Because with that, what you can't see at the very front here will be new fencing that'll mean that a kid that manages to sneak out the doors still can't run on the road. There's going to be a fence that would require someone a little bit older to open it for them to get out to where the road is. And so it will be making it safer, but it's also going to give us a little bit more room to allow more people in. The next thing is global life. Know, love and serve our world. Our church has chosen to be part of Myanmar. It used to be called Burma, but Myanmar, we have a project there called the Myanmar Project, and our heart is that we're personally invested in the Myanmar Project. We want to form partnerships with the Myanmar community to change lives. We're not going over there telling them what to do. We're simply wanting to partner with them and help them, the pastor over there, to help bring life to Myanmar. And our other thing is to empower people from poverty to purpose. And so we've got a little video now that we're going to show, which is going to show you what the Myanmar Project, what we do overseas is all about. And then Amy's going to get up and briefly share.
how amazing is the progress? It's been great to see. Did you know, fun fact, all the concrete in that building has been poured by people carrying baskets of concrete on their head and then dropping it into the right spot. So it's been a very interesting process to watch. And it's all only been possible through support and generosity from the people here at that church. So we look forward to sharing more as it progresses. I'm excited to let you know that our major fundraiser this year is our Black Tie Dinner, which will be held on Friday, August 27th. This was supposed to be last year, due to COVID has been postponed to this year, but hopefully it will all go ahead, so please save the date. On the night we'll be holding an auction, but in order for this auction to be a success, we're looking for some donations of items for the auction. In the past, auction items have included things like school fees, accommodation, dinner vouchers and artwork, amongst many other things. After the service today, we're going to have a table set up outside where you can speak to somebody about a donation if you think you've got something that you'd like to donate, or if you think, I'd really like to donate something but I've got no idea what. We've also got a few lists of the items that were donated last time that might be able to give you some ideas of where to go. Also at that table, I'm excited to say we're going to be selling copies of the book The Swimmer and Other Stories of Life, which includes a story by our very own Esther Cremona. It's been written by her. These books will be available for $20 and all profits will be going directly to the Myanmar Project. Just to close, I'd like to introduce to you the 2021 Myanmar Board, and their photos are up there. So we have Kerry Branton, Belinda Ellsgood, Pete Rainbow, Pete Rogers and I will be continuing on the board, and I'm pleased to announce that Esther Cremona and Thais Gomez will be joining us on the board as well. So please feel free to have a chat to any of those people if you have any questions or would like any more information. Thank you.
Yes, and I'll reiterate that. This is the book. It's called The Swimmer, and our own Esther Cremona does have a chapter in there. So they're all short stories. I had a quick look. There's 56 stories in here. We've got 30 copies here available at the help desk today if you would like to buy a copy. I have read not all 56, but I have read Esther's, and she's done a tremendous job. It is a great short story. They're all true stories, by the way. If you're into fiction, this is not the book for you. These are all true stories, and this is put together by Tabor, put this thing together. But I think Esther's story if you want to understand a little bit about Esther, it's a really, really good read. And so can I encourage you, and as we said, all the profits go to Myanmar anyway, but if you're interested, and I've said to her, would you even consider signing the book, Esther? And she's like, oh, all right. And that's exactly how Esther is, but I'm hopeful she's here today. Where is she? She's probably really annoyed at me right now. But, so if you would like an autographed copy, you won't get that anywhere from here today. So can I encourage you, take that up. We've got a few authors in the church here. I know that Sandy Bailey's also written a book about her life as a nurse in mental health. Who'd want to do that for a job? Not me. But I take my hat off to you, Sandy. Worked for many years with my auntie, actually, so it turned out. But I believe that would be a very interesting read as well if you want to hear some really interesting stories. But see Sandy if you want to get a copy of that. Have you still got copies left? No. You've sold 600. Well done. Sorry, I wasted everyone's time because you can't actually buy a copy anyway. Sorry? It's in the South Australian Library. Who goes to a library? Not me. Oh, okay, you'll do. Sorry. Go to the South Australian Library. Have a look at that book. Oh, yes, Sally did a book sometime too. Okay. I haven't read that one, so. Right. Port Life Seaview. As we said, it's becoming a campus this year. Port Life Seaview will be taking place. Now, at the moment, as I said earlier, it's already been voted in, so it's already in the process. We're waiting on lawyers just to finalise everything. They literally have to cancel the old membership. There's just some legal stuff that needs to take place. The church down there are very supportive of this, though. And this week, Jason, one of our own, and Kev have been busy painting, and they've really transformed the place. Just with a lick of paint, look what they've done. Really, really, now when you drive past, you won't think, oh, I wonder, is there anyone still there? They've just given it a lick of paint, and it's totally transformed the building. So thanks, Jace. He's here somewhere. Thank you to you and Kev. Well done on doing that. But we're really excited to be partnering with Seaview. Our plan is that next year we'll have a joint conference between the two churches. We're going to do something. We're going to start to think a bit differently, not in 2021, but in 2022. So look out for that. Very quickly, just so we're being fully transparent and accountable with you, here's where we ended up last year on the next slide. I want to thank you all. Who would have thought that in a COVID year we would have ended up with a higher offering than the year before per week? And so the average weekly giving last year was still our highest yet. And so we would love this year to continue with the direction we've been heading. Can I encourage you to really pray about what you give? I want to thank everyone that does give to the church. Last year, we were able to actually take that extra money and pay down $75,000 of the church's debt, which is quite an amazing thing we were able to do. We still have about $150,000 debt left. So we can be debt-free in 2 years if we can just continue at the rate of what we've been doing. So thank you, everybody, for what you have contributed. We truly do appreciate that. One other thing, the next slide shows you what we're trying to do for the future in relation to the building size. Out that wall out there is all the offices. We're going to knock all that out, and we're going to convert that into a big youth hall. Like I said before, we want to really focus on young people. And it's really important that young people have an area. We've got our church area here, and we want one for younger people. And so we're going to create a small chapel type hall in the room next door. It'll be one that they'll be able to use not only on a Sunday morning, but on Friday nights. And we'll be able to use it for a variety of courses that we want to run, and when we do breakout and so many different things. It'll be such a handy room to have. And we're going to expand this room and take out all of this here that you can see will all become seating, and the stage will go the other side of this wall. And so just doing that will enable us to go post-COVID from 450 here to about 700 in one service, which would be an incredible, this is post-COVID, I'm not suggesting we'd even attempt that now, but it will mean that the church will have this ability to expand without needing to put on multiple services, which we don't really want to do. I know people would say, you're silly, why don't you do more services? Well, I don't want to. I don't know about you, but coming once on a Sunday is enough. Is that wrong for me to say that? Quality, not quantity. So look, in order to do that though, as you know, we started a building fund, and the next you can see here, that's what's going to be going on in order to do this. And can I thank those people that have started giving to the building fund? I know last year we stopped talking about it because we thought, you know what, we mentioned it, and about 3 weeks later COVID hit, and I thought, I can't mention that again. I just can't. It's just not the time to do this. But last year, nevertheless, $28,000 came in for the building fund. So to those of you that gave, thank you so much for that. So the church is going to pay off the rest of its debt. It's $150. The church will then take out another loan for about $350, which would cover about half of the cost. So we need the church to raise the other half. So we're aiming for $350,000. The best way to do this, and I would encourage you to do what I do, you can do whatever you want, but I just put aside a certain amount of money out of my pay each fortnight and just put it in like that, and then you hardly know that it's even there. And if we talked about last year, if everyone just did, say, $20 a week toward that, we would have enough to do the whole 700,000 with the number of people in this church. If everyone did that, $20 a week, with the number of families there were, if people did that for 2 years, we would actually have enough to cover that. Now, I know some people, that's a lot of money and they can't afford that, but I know that other people, that's not a lot of money and go, you know what, I can actually stretch myself a bit more than that. But as a church, I would love to think that in 2 or 3 years' time, we can have all of that money raised and we can get straight in to expanding this place so that we can actually have more families post-COVID coming in to this church without, as I said, that need to have to look at extra services, where I would much rather not do that unless we have to. The 2021 eldership team, oh, by the way, just one last thing on that for the building fund. There is a building fund account. So if you were putting money in for a building fund, don't just put money into the church. Make sure you either say it's building fund or that you see us for the actual account number for the building fund. The 2021 eldership team, you can see the faces here. For those of you that may not know who is on that team, first of all, you've got myself and my wife Sally, and then I've got Pete Rainbow there, and then you've got myself and my wife Sally. Because there's doppelgangers in this place. I don't know what's happened there. That's Kevin and Alex. See, the longer Kevin and I work together, the more we look like each other. Sorry, Kev, I don't know what's happened. Then I've got Jake and Jules O'Callaghan, Andre and Vanessa Dolphin, Ian and Belinda Elsgood, and Naomi and Joel Vortman. And over Christmas, the eldership made a decision to appoint a new elder to the church. And so this morning I have the pleasure of announcing that as of about 2 weeks ago, Nick Johnston was appointed to the eldership of the church with his wife Kirsty. So thank you, well done to Nick. Nick was the 2IC of the church he was at before us, and he was on the eldership there. So when he came to us, he came with an understanding that we were going to develop him into one day be running a church. And I think most of you that have got to know him would realise that that's a calling that's going to be on his life down the track, right? And so we want to prepare him best. We can't prepare him best if he is not on that eldership team. Because he needs to see what goes on behind the scenes to understand how the church runs. Even, for example, what a better environment than one that has a big school as well attached to it. You really get an understanding of finance, of governance, of policy. And apart from that, he's a person of right character for the role. He is a very godly man. I think he's a very wise man for someone his age. You know, he doesn't look 45, but you think but the decisions that he makes are for someone that are a couple of decades older than what he actually is. Like, he really, really is an exceptional young man. His wife, Kirsty, such a great person as well. I know at the moment she's got little Evie that you may not see a lot of her, but they're a good couple. And we're so privileged to have them. We thank the church at Ballarat for allowing us to have them. We really look forward to the years ahead with you guys. That's pretty much all I have for this morning. I'm going to invite Pete up now because we felt what would be a really good way to start the year is to actually do communion together. And so we said last week, if you could, to do a bit of BYO, bring some cracker and maybe a bit of juice or whatever you've got. And if you haven't brought something because you either didn't know about it or forgot, that's okay. It'll be on at 5 o'clock this afternoon. You're welcome to do it there. Thanks, Pete.
Thanks, Josh. If we could please put our hands together and show our appreciation for Josh. I really appreciate his leadership here at the church as the senior pastor. And just in case any of you are thinking he doesn't like church, doesn't want to be at church, that's not the case. He made it seem like it was all about him, this whole once on a Sunday thing. But really, I know his heart bleeds for this church and for the people of this church. And he doesn't want this to become a church where it's a few people getting run ragged to put on a show for everyone else. And it really is about family, and we want to see our volunteer numbers increasing and all that stuff, but we just don't want to see some people thriving at the expense of others. And we know that what church life is like and can be like. And so I know that comes from really a heart just wanting to protect people. So thanks, Josh, so much. Appreciate your leadership. So we are about to just take a few moments just to reflect on what God has done for us in sending his son Jesus to die in our place, really. And I don't know if you have signed up for the Bible reading plan that Sally spoke about a couple of weeks ago, then Hans reiterated last week, and I'm reiterating again today, but it's on Facebook. You just jump onto Port Life Bible reading plan. And Sally has organised to take us through the Bible in the course this year. Not every part of the Bible, but picking out parts that are going to show us what we need to know in terms of have a big picture view of the Bible. And already just in these couple of weeks, we're up to Genesis chapter 14 today, and just in this time already, one of the things that's really been standing out to me afresh is just that we have a God who is an initiator. From the very beginning, God initiated creation. He initiated relationship with him. He initiated family life. He initiated so much. He initiated sacrifice at the very, very beginning. And as we go through the Bible, we're going to read lots of stories about amazing things that were accomplished by people. And sometimes we can focus on the people, and I put a bit of a note about this in our Facebook thing this week, but it's not about the people. I mean, people have done great things in the name of God, but it's always about God. And you and I have become Christians not on the basis of the fact that we are good people, but on the fact we have a good God who recognized that we were not good people, we were not doing well. In fact, we had a terminal illness called sin. It was going to take us out. We absolutely had no hope of a future. The end was very bleak, but God initiated a plan of salvation. He came and he took the hit that we all deserved. And so whenever we come together for communion, it's really just about taking time to reflect on what Jesus has done for us. He is the one that gives us life. He is the one that gives us hope. With Vision Sunday, there's some amazing things happening as a part of this church family into our community and beyond. But there's lots of great things happening around the world. But it's only those things that are done in the name of Jesus, with him directing and leading and empowering, that provides the life and the hope that are so desperately needed in this world. And so can we please stand? Perhaps we'll all stand together. I know some of you are prepared, some not, but in a moment we're going to eat and drink. We're going to take a moment to reflect on the fact that God has initiated a plan of salvation. We need not fear. We have a hope, we have a future, we have life. We have his transforming power at work in our life. Not because we're continually striving to be better people, but because Jesus has died on our behalf. And after that, our worship team is going to lead us in a song that will probably be new for many of us. And so maybe just take the time just to continue to reflect on the God that we serve and something of the plans and purposes he has for us. And as you're able, perhaps just join in and start singing as well. But let's pray and then let's eat and drink. Father, thank you for the initiation of heaven. We thank you, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, that together you have outworked a beautiful and perfect plan of salvation. We thank you, Lord Jesus, that you are willing to die in our stead, that your body was broken, your blood was shed, that we might experience wholeness, that we might experience forgiveness. And so we give glory and honor to you today. We recognize it's not about what we can do for you, but it's about what you have done for us. And everything else needs to flow out of that revelation. So thank you, Lord Jesus. Amen. Let's eat and drink, and then I'll hand over to Em and the team.